The end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Today I want to talk about two words. The first word is learning. The second word is knowledge. And this topic came up because somebody reached out to me a while back and they said, "Hey, Ray, are you going to go to this upcoming meeting?" And my answer immediately was no. And the person was kind of surprised. They're like, "What do you mean no? It's going to be a great event." I said, "Well, when I saw the agenda, there was really no reason for me to go to it. I mean, I didn't see anything on the agenda. What I saw was a cake with no frosting." And ladies and gentlemen, the industry that I know, the industry that I call home, those friends of mine that sell supply and service print equipment, it's disrupted to a point of absurdity. It's really bad, folks, okay? I know there's a lot of deniers out there that think everything will be just fine. But when we're out there in the marketplace in the year 2023, we need to be paying attention to the conversations we're having. And we need to hold accountability to the OEMs, to all the vendors. We need to start seeking relevant learning so we can gain the relevant knowledge so we can maintain a continuous relevance. These are facts. So without any further ado, I want to jump on the Sharp Interactive board. I want to share my thoughts. But there it is. There's the cake with no frosting. Who the hell wants to eat a piece of that? Ugh, tastes like crap. Obviously, some of us, myself included, probably should be eating cake with no frosting, but I don't want to do that because I like the frosting. And I strongly suggest that all my friends that sell supply and service print equipment seek the frosting, because the frosting's the knowledge, right? The frosting's the knowledge. Here's my two words: knowledge over here, learning over here. Let me explain it to you this way. Learning is a continuous journey, okay? And we should all continuously learn, okay? But keep in mind that don't continuously learn the same things you already know just because you're comfortable. I'll get to that in a second. Knowledge is an arrived destination. You got the knowledge, right? You put in the time to learn, you gain the knowledge, and it's from the knowledge that you get rewarded. It's from the knowledge being executed that you get rewarded. Let me say it that way. Because a lot of us have knowledge, but they don't execute it. I just find it ironic sometimes, some of the senior leaders inside the Document Imaging channel, they should have so much knowledge. But when you look at what they share in the marketplace, they don't share any knowledge. They share adjectives without any substance. They share nonsensical posts about nothing. They share scrapbook pictures of themselves back in the 90s. There's really very little knowledge being spread around the industry from some of the thought leaders, and it's disturbing at best. And I believe the reason is because these people aren't stupid. They have the knowledge, but what's holding them back is they fear that if they share the knowledge, it'll upset their friends so much that they might lose a friend. It sounds ridiculous. It really does, especially in an industry that's in decline and disruption. You think that these people with all the knowledge would be out forefront, and they'd be sharing that knowledge, talking about realities. And I just think we need to think about that, because we make an investment in learning, but the payouts when we execute on the knowledge. We make the investment to learn, the payouts when we execute on the knowledge. Knowledge demands accountability. Learning, it's just really seeking accountability. And I strongly suggest that when you're learning, you have them show the details. Have them show the math. When you're learning about a new product or a new service, don't get all excited about the buzzwords of the new product or service. Get excited about the math. How do you sell it? What's the revenue? What's the profit? What do I got to do different with human capital to achieve that revenue and that profit? Let's start digging into the details and put away all the hype and nonsense. Because, folks, we've been talking about a lot of crap for a long time. A lot of pie in the sky stuff. I just find it funny when I hear people out in the marketplace talking about AI. We're going to be the AI people. We're going to do robotics, all this crazy stuff. And at the end of the day, they're still going to classrooms to learn about managed print services. And I'm thinking to myself, that's your job description today. You should have already learned that. We shouldn't be wasting a whole lot of time even talking about that. I get it. Train your new reps how to go do it, but we should be training dealer owners how to do managed print services in the year 2023. That's absurdity at best. That's something we should be training reps on that just started with a company. And I said this before, managed print services is your job. But when you have an opportunity to sit on stage with these OEMs, we got to talk about to these OEMs based on reality. And I want to show this slide here. Because, folks, here's the deal. We're getting together for these venues, and we're going to have opportunities to go to a lot of venues this year. And I'm strongly suggesting that a lot of my friends go outside the industry and go to some IT events. You really got to start looking, folks. You got to start looking where the industry's going. But when you're at these events, are we gaining knowledge with colleagues or just having fun with friends? And I want you to think about the two words, colleagues and friends. You know, getting together with colleagues to seek a better way, that's smart. Getting together with colleagues to hold colleagues accountable to each other, guess what? That's smart. Getting colleagues together to talk about the future that's realistic and based on reality, that's smart. Getting together in a bar with a bunch of friends, you could do that without going to a conference. And I realize that you can have colleagues and those colleagues can be friends. But if the whole event's purpose is to hang out in the bar with your friends, I would skip that meeting. And I would go to a meeting where you don't know anybody and go meet some new colleagues so you can build relationships around trust and accountability. And maybe you can learn something that will give you the knowledge that you could go out in the marketplace and change the game. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this permissions to show up shit is destroying our industry. We're talking to people about benign topics and they get the answer and everybody feels good. There's no discomfort. I put this here. Permission to show up activities can easily overtake the discomfort of deconstructing status quo. Deconstructing status quo is brutal. And when you're asking OEMs questions to help you deconstruct status quo, it's very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for the OEM. It could be uncomfortable for the dealers. I think about this amplified nonsense with HP, and I've listened to some of the interviews out there. I've read these articles out there. I try to bring your attention to that on the Sharp Interactive board when I see them out there. But some of this stuff is pure insanity. We're not holding HP accountable to anything. We allow them to get up on stage to do an interview with us, and we talk to them about absolutely nothing. We allow them to spew all their permissions to show up. Folks, we need to drill deep down inside it. I mean, here's the deal. Next time someone has an HP executive on stage, ask them this question. Tell me a dealer that made money and profit because they gave you data. And make them show the details. And in that answer, I'll assure you, there will be so many more questions. If I was the MC, there'd be so many more questions, it'd be unbelievable. But here's the problem, folks. We allow these OEMs to come. We're gonna talk to these OEMs in front of the dealer community, and it's all prepared. It's all scripted. It's like two intelligent people just can't stand on stage and have a conversation. It's mind-boggling to me. What are you gonna ask me? Oh, here's the answer to that. Don't ask me anything else. Now, I'll do this, but you better behave yourself. I mean, folks, it's ridiculous. Do you ever wonder why none of these senior leaders really come on the end of the day with Ray? Because they know better. Because I'm not going to play that game. And the bottom line is the dealers, you dealers out there, have to force the industry's analysts, and you have to force the industry's MCs. You got to enforce all the people putting on these venues. You got to force them to ask these OEMs tougher questions. Whether they're friends or foes, it doesn't really matter, folks. I realize everybody has their favorites, okay? But at the end of the day, we're not going to get better if we continue to fear to talk about reality. And we just fear it so much. We talk about supply chain back orders. What a waste of damn time. We've been talking about that crap for over 3 years. When those OEMs get a bunch of products, they're going to sell them to you, okay? That should be like a 2-minute update, not an hour-long conversation. What we plan to do with no due date. Aren't you sick of those people? Yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. 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 They never do anything, and they don't have any due date on what they're going to actually do. Then they can talk about it again the next event. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we decided we're going to do this. A great idea without the math. I've talked about this before. The adjectives without any math are usually deemed pure bullshit, and I believe that to be the facts. We need to share the facts, the math. When they kick off a new product, they're going to share some ideas around a new product. They should have the math already done. Here's the math on it, folks. We're going to take us into the marketplace. This is what your revenue is going to be. This is what your profit's going to be. This is how your human capital is going to have to change. This is how your costs are going to have to change. They give the details and the substance. When they don't give the details and the substance, well, they're just getting you all together to talk about pure nonsense. So, folks, the bottom line is this. The bottom line is this. I want to show you this picture again. We need to seek the frosting because it's in the frosting that we get the knowledge. But you know what? Knowledge demands accountability. Are you ready to be held accountable to getting knowledge? Are you ready to stop running around learning things you already know? Are you ready to take the knowledge, execute on that knowledge, and actually make some money and change the game? I hope so, because 2023 is the year for you, if so. Because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.